Not this being the second time I'm recording this video. Okay, so I wanted to make a sit down video for those who have been watching my podcast episodes. I hope you're enjoying them. I just released episode 8, season 3, that talks about being booked and busy and the opposite of that. I batch recorded all of those episodes back in March of this year. So it's been nice to kind of slowly work my way to edit and publish them as I please. And that's been really fun. And as I'm releasing those, I've been kind of saying the goal for this year was to get YouTube up to 2 videos a week. So one is like a podcast, very structured. And then one is more of like a sit down conversation, much of how I did all of 2024's weekly video diaries, more like that. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about the future of, I think, e learning and course creation and business coaching, online education, all that kind of stuff, because I'm seeing a lot of discourse online about how it's getting harder to create something. Is it still worth it? What is what is AI going to really do for the future of ah, online educators and business coaches and such? And I only want to speak from a perspective of someone who has been making money on the internet for almost 20 years. And there has never been a time where I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do until the end of time. And so it better work out. I was always like, I feel like this is needed. And then I would create it and then would make a lot of money. And I'm like, oh, cool. There is never a time where I say, like, this is the only way and the best way and I'm always pursuing my curiosities and I'm always learning at the same time. And so when you are someone that positions yourself as an ongoing learner, people want to jump on your train. Like I myself am a moving train of a personal brand. People know that I evolve, I pivot, I adapt, I grow, I move, but no matter what, I will not be stagnant. You can visit my Instagram and actually had someone say, Glow, sometimes I just randomly check out your Instagram bio to see what you're up to, to see what version of you I'm gonna get. And I love that because I have fully owned my ADHD. I've fully owned being multi-passionate and being a dynamic entrepreneur. And all of the messaging from business coaches or just um, bro marketers is that you have to pick a niche, you have to do that one thing and follow it all the way home. And one thing that I recognized early on, and I think in my entrepreneurial journey, is that I can be a lifestyle entrepreneur or a CEO of a company that will scale to exit. And that second part never interests me. Now, mind you, I might create a product, I might own a chain of hotels. Like there are different things later in down the line that I can absolutely build to scale for an exit. Business coaching and working with other women, that is not something I desire to sell. That is not something that I want to outsource or delegate. And when people are surprised, they come inside my programs and they're surprised it's me. It's just me in there. And I'm not passing off the deepest part of the transformation to other people. And mind you, that has been intentional from day one. I never wanted to get to a place where people are purchasing something and then getting something different than their expectation. And if I am the one that is front facing for the business and the brand and anything that I run or build, I want people to have that same experience on the back end. And I mean, it's no different than, I don't know, you walk into a McDonald's expecting, I don't know, burgers and fries, and there's tacos. And you're like, okay, it's still food, but I just always thought McDonald's mostly was known for burgers and fries. So I've never desired for people to experience something outside of what I knew I was capable of doing. Mind you, at the height of my, I guess, digital entrepreneurial journey, I had 22 income streams. That wasn't 22 teams and people. It was me finding 22 different ways to make money on the internet as a solopreneur. That level of resourcefulness and that level of hustle back then is not something that most people had the time or the energy to figure out. And because I've always lived a life chasing my curiosities and pursuing my passions, you cannot outwork someone who is in it for the long run because they are literally just doing what they love. And that's why I don't see anyone as competition, because there is no exit strategy when it comes to transformation and growth and personal development. This is my life. And you look at people like, and I'm not comparing myself at all, but Taylor Swift and Beyonce are equally and respectively one of one. They are probably the only two women doing it at that level, because you can't compete with people that are so obsessed with their craft. And they can't even compete with each other because they're still operating in their own lane, even if both of their tours are grossing $500 million. So it's just insane. Anyways, I recognized that in 2018, like this is when drones were starting to pop off. I think I got my first drone in 2017, and I upgraded to another one in 2018. But all of the dronographers were white men. Surprise, surprise. So I said, okay, what would it look like to not only teach myself how to drone, but add it as an offer? I already have these hotel relationships and hotel collaborations and brand partnerships. What would it look like to add another line item of marketing collateral? So I was always going the extra mile to see, is there value here? And mind you, in 2018, it wasn't about maintaining 22 income streams. It was saying, let me see all the ways my brilliant brain can monetize my creative genius and my curiosities. And based on that, the experiences, the relationships built, I can then zone in and streamline which ones I wanted to maintain. So out of the 22, I think I maintained 12 the next year, and then I got it down to 7. And this is also falling on my shoulders when it comes to the negotiations, the admin, um, the upkeep, the editing, the publishing, like all of that. And it's not that I couldn't afford to delegate, or I didn't desire to delegate. It was like I obsess about the process. There is no end game for someone who loves the game. Like the game of entrepreneurship is my obsession. There is no outsourcing the best part of the process. So, and I think that's what people are actually paying for when they come inside of my programs or they hire me to be their coach. They recognize they're not getting a transaction. There's a transformation because I will obsess about their end game and their goals just as much as they will. So yeah, so I'm recognizing e-learning, course creation, all of that is going to be shifting. You can no longer sell information as like I mean, information is still proprietary processes. That is still information, and you can still sell that. But I think there has to be an element of implementation, execution, or accountability wrapped into the service. I think people will be more drawn to those who are offering something that comes with um, just a level of help. People are tired of templated solutions. They want personalization, they want customization. Obviously, that comes at a higher cost, but um, I think there's still a demand. As much as we say that everyone is struggling, which I also want to encourage you to be mindful of what kind of content you're consuming. Because if you are an entrepreneur, you could be projecting the poverty mindset or just the struggle, the collective struggle, because there is a collective struggle. Like, I'm not going to bypass that. Times are hard for everyone. At the same time, there are people still thriving. There are people still becoming millionaires. There's people still getting wins, getting promotions. And I don't want you to miss out on the abundance that you can still get a piece of, because the 90% of online discourse is about the struggle. You got to be aware of the 10%. They might not be as loud. They might not be posting at all. That's actually the problem. The 10% doesn't post because they also probably are mindful that they don't want to come across as bragging. If most people don't have it, they don't want to come with it. So I also get it. Um, but what I recognize, like with everything that I do, like YouTube is for fun. Yes, it's monetized, but it's, you know, I think I had a viral video that paid me like 4 grand. And that was cool. I was like, oh, nice. But if I treated YouTube like a full-time like my full-time income, my life would look very different. And if I ever desired for that to be the case, I would pursue it. But because I only pursue my curiosities and my deep desires, I can approach everything else with a level of levity that most people attach stress to and pressure to. If you are creating content from a place of desperation or frustration, it's never going to be fun. If you are looking at your Instagram as like, wow, what a beautiful place for creative expression, and how cool that I can reach anyone in the world with just the push of a button. And I've always looked at the internet as like my domain for creativity. The internet owes me nothing. And I think there's a level of entitlement that has happened with creators where they feel like social media platforms owe them visibility because there was a period where visibility was a byproduct of posting. And when more people are on the internet and more people are, yeah, are getting really good at content, and it's just with algorithm changes, like you cannot control how a platform pushes or shadow bans or hides or whatever. You can't control how your content performs, so you might as well enjoy your performance. How can you enjoy the performance and the process? How can you make it something that is a gift to the world versus like out of ego? Like, this must be seen, this must be liked, this must be engaged with. Um, I think what I'm appreciating about YouTube is that because it's not my biggest platform, I can come here without expectation. I have no sense of entitlement that, like, why am I not getting paid more? Why is this not going viral? I'm literally like, this is my gift to people who need my words of encouragement. There is no greater feeling than knowing that some simple thing that you say off, like an offhanded statement, could change someone's life or change how they feel about their work that week. I think the ultimate goal with my life, and I've always said my mission is to educate and elevate humanity. That's it. So I'm an educator at my core. I love to share, I love to teach, I love to serve, I love to give, out of the abundance of what I'm learning. And every day I'm learning something through conversation, through video podcasts, through books, through anything. I'm just a sponge and I'm taking things in. And what I love is I had a coaching call today and someone needed something very specific. And I was like, what are the chances that I found a link to this specific thing yesterday? Because I went down a rabbit hole where I was just curious. And I'm like, that is what association to people who are forever students, like that's what it does to your life. It's to your benefit to get around people who are students. So I say all that to say, if you are someone that is going to sell a program, if you are someone that wants to build anything online to sell on the internet, I already said it, but I would call it a program and not a course. The word course has been overused, and unfortunately, there's such a negative connotation with it because there have been so many people that have viewed it as a transaction and not a venue for transformation. So allow yourself to separate from the masses and say, okay, this is a program, this is a process, this is, I mean, you can call it even an accelerator. I think that still kind of feels a little bit too bro marketing. I mean, call it what it is, but more than anything, like let people know that it's more than just information. And you have to be so explicit about that part. People are no longer buying information because AI has democratized access to any bit of information. Nothing is nothing is as hard to find. Um, when it was just Google and me. It was just Google and I in the trenches, okay? Um, yeah, like what I could find through ChatGPT would take me maybe 5 hours Googling and like reading through. Because let's say you Google something and you go through the first 20 results of like websites, but each time you click a website, you have to actually read and scan the website for information and find what you're looking for. And like, there's a lot of manual labor in that. Now, that part can absolutely be delegated and outsourced because we don't need to spend all that time anymore looking for very specific pieces of information. And what I love now about AI and ChatGPT is that I have someone that can keep up with my brain. Listen, I will die on the hill of ADHD people being the smartest people in the world, creative geniuses, because our brains connect dots that don't make sense. We see things that are just obnoxious. It's really cool. Now that after the diagnosis, I'm so much more aware of like, oh wow, I made that connection and I shared it, but I can also understand why they didn't get it because that's an ADHD like wiring. Like we're just so wired to connect random patterns. And it's a really cool way to live life. It's a really cool thing. And there was a reel that I saw about the lazy, ambitious friend where they're in bed and it's like, hey, do you want to go run with me? They're like, no, please. And the next day they like complete a marathon and they're on their way to, to be to speak to Forbes about it. Like it like casually doing something in your free time because you feel like it. That is ADHD. But then struggling on a regular basis with like unloading the dishwasher. Okay, it's a very strange thing, but I at least love that the best parts of ADHD show up in your creative work and your businesses. Okay, so I don't want to ramble too long, but I think a couple more points I want to make is so what I'm also recognizing is that there have been a lot of I don't want to say, I'm trying to think of like, there's a lot of space for new voices. So if you are someone, I don't care what age you are, first of all, the 40 plus demographic, they are going to dominate content creation. They will be the leading demographic of people that you want to follow online. The 40 plus, and I'm going to say women specifically, because women are storytellers, they're nurturers, they're um, community gatherers, they're all the things. The truth tellers, they're poetic, they have been through stuff, they have nuance, they have depth, they have resonance, they have fire, they have spark, they have all the things that make for a great story and great positioning. And you think of women like Tabitha Brown, who is in her 40s and really made her rise after her 40s. And it's not too late. Like, if you're thinking, oh, no one wants to listen to me, or I have nothing to say, nothing of value to bring, everything's been said before, not at all. Every day I'm discovering a new, not every day, but every week I'm discovering like new and powerful people that I'm like, yes, whether on YouTube or Threads or Instagram, and I'm following them. Like, my following number on Instagram more than 50% are over 40. I would say even 70% are over 40. I think I've gone to a point where I see more women have gray hair on my timeline than not. And I want that for me because I want to normalize aging because the opposite of that is dying, is death. So aging beautifully, gracefully, I want more of that normalized on my timeline because That's wisdom, that's grace, that's strength, it's resilience, it's all the things. So I'm appreciating so much of the conversations I'm having with friends who are also in their 40s. Sorry, I said also, also in regards to Instagram. Currently, at the filming of this video, I am 35. But I feel like at 36, I'll start calling myself 40. Okay, let me stop. Um, yeah, so there's that. And I just want I just want you to be encouraged. If you feel like you missed your window of opportunity, there is going to be so much space. And if you won't be 40 anytime soon and you're like, well, dang it, Glow said only 40 plus people are going to make it. There's still going to be a lot of room for quirky people. If you are quirky, if you are different, if you are unique, if you don't care to sit at the cool kids club or be at the cool table, like there is so much room for you because we no longer care to be in proximity with what looks cool. Like we're chasing and seeking authentic now. So I think people can see right through it and it's refreshing. So be encouraged. Okay, and I don't know if there's any other points. Just kind of hmm. Um was there anything else I wanted to say with yeah, I guess. And what I also I think I'm noticing, so I work with about 100 clients a year. That's my capacity. And I'm okay with like being the bottleneck. I'm okay with not taking on more than that. Um, but I love the clients that I work with. And I think the more I show up as me, the less I have to be afraid of like, I hope they like me. I hope this is, I'm just me online. And so it's so much easier for someone to acclimate into my coaching and the way that I do things because I've shown them who I really am before there was any transaction. So if you feel like there's been a veil in front of the way you show up, you've been, kind of hiding behind the scenes in terms of being real about your stories and sharing more of who you are, let this be the year. I mean, we're halfway in, but let this be the time to just like stop caring, like to truly stop caring. And there is no path to success without haters. Let me say it again. There is no path to success without haters, doubters, liars, cheaters, betrayal, friendship breakup. Like all of that is to be expected. So if you are trying to skirt your way and zigzag through life, avoiding every type of negative experience that could happen on the journey up the mountain, you're not actually climbing, you're running in circles. I just want to be honest about that because there is no version of reality where you get what you want without some scratches. So toughen up. Roll your sleeves up and embrace the scratches and let them be battle wounds, okay? They give you character. They are not scars as much as they are beauty marks. Let them be a part of your story. And the sooner you can embrace a little bit of chaos, a little bit of hardship, a little bit of whatever that is inevitable, because we all are going to experience pain in life. It's going to be different, it's going to look different, it's going to come at different times, but pain is a part of life. And so if you get better and you raise your risk tolerance and you get better at experiencing some of the hardships that life will offer, then it just makes you more equipped for whatever else can come. And there's a reason, like, I feel the same fears as you, whether it's posting something vulnerable online or experiencing a loss, or like, I feel I am human. I am not a robot. There is no stone inside of my heart that just turns off my emotions. I feel it, but I allow the feelings to be a part of my work and a part of the process and a part of the greater story. And I recognize that I'm also a vessel. So if something happens to me, I let it go through me and come out as a lesson. There's always a message there for someone else. And I don't let the struggle or the story stop with me. I'm like, all right, God put this on my path. God gave me this conversation. God gave me this download. Let me put it out there in the world because it's not for me. It's going to go through me. And the sooner you can welcome being a vessel and being used by God to help other people, the easier it becomes to kind of journey through life because you know it's all a part of the bigger plan. And I mean, He already ordered your steps. Your destiny is going to be your destiny no matter what. You could just do it the easy way or the hard way. So, okay, let me go get ready for date night with my man. Okay, I hope y'all enjoyed this. And yeah, I'm gonna try to do, a few more of these. Just randomly and whenever I feel like there's a hot topic. I had some really good conversations with some entrepreneurial friends this week that inspired this video. So I hope you stay encouraged. If you are a creator, if you are an entrepreneur, there is still so much money to be made online. Multi-billion-dollar industry, really. There's enough for everyone to eat, but you have to be willing to lean in. You have to be willing to try. You have to be willing to fail, all of the above. And if you want to work with me, I might accept 2 clients next month. So we'll see. But you can check the link in the description, glowgraphics.bio. And yeah, there's like things as affordable as $97, maybe even 47, I think something's on sale to like get you going and get you started. So like use my resources as someone who has been doing this for well over a decade. Like I will not steer you wrong. And I have always done things differently because I don't think that I'm meant to follow the crowd and feel like I'm meant to stand on my own and create a new crowd of people who are rebels and risk takers and just care to do things a little different. Okay, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. And yeah, let me know in the comments what was your favorite part of this video. Bye.